Okay, so we're catching up on a sequel here at PAX East, Force 2, The Rush, but I gotta say, for a sequel, it's very, very different from the first game.
It is. So in Force 1 it was all about these intense boss fights, kind of like World of Warcraft instances, but this time it's way more procedural, so you don't really know what you get into and you have to sort of prepare for the worst. And we combined all of that with deck building. So it's extremely random and you sort of have to just catch on and adapt to the flow as you go.
Very interesting. And you also had that ball in the first game that you threw around. I don't see that around it, or is it somewhere in there?
The ball might be there at some point, but that was very much a co-op mechanic, and we sort of tagged on single player to the first one. Now we are focusing a lot on single player. There will be a co-op component in the future, and maybe there will be a ball.
Maybe. All right, we'll have to wait and see then.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us a little bit about sort of what the world has been like, how the story has progressed, and what the setting is for the sequel?
Yeah, okay, so in Force 1 you were at this really, really hardcore gladiator school. You're trying to graduate and it's way harder than going to any campus. Obviously you'll die if you don't. And so this is the continuation on that story. So what you're playing here is all the gladiators that actually graduated. And you are now sort of the owner of a ludus, if you will, where you have a selection of gladiators that you sort of purchase. And you want to have them as your host, so you can select them from the different matches you are going to. It's kind of like being a boxing promoter, I guess, where you choose your characters to be the most renowned gladiator team in the universe.
It's kind of a nice setup there, because when we hear roguelike, we always feel like, oh, we're getting dropped in at the deep end and we don't really have control of it. But it seems like you're sort of allowing the player to sort of match up their own way and sort of so that you know a little bit about what challenge you're in for.
Yeah, so it's like a procedural campaign. You usually have 3 to 5 missions to go in, or matches, that vary both in time, difficulty, and how much you know about them. Sometimes you know a lot, and that's probably because it's really hard. Then you have to really theory craft a deck for it. And it's also a little hardcore in the way that if you're defeated at a boss or a match, you might not necessarily get a chance to play against them again. That is only if you have enough gold in your sort of ludus to do that. So you sort of really have to prepare. So it's not just only action, it's also like mixed with some strategic thinking between the fights.
And so the deck building, the cards, how does that come into it, and sort of what kind of things does it add?
Yeah, so the deck building ensures that whenever you play a match, you don't just hurl off the same fireballs all the time. You sort of have a dream and an idea of how you want to build your character, but you don't have total control. You put in those 30 cards, and you sort of try to plan in your head how your character is going to progress, and then you hope you pick your cards like that. But there's always a boss or something that surprises you, and you have to play your deck in a more versatile way. But then again, there's also the boss fights where you really, that's almost like a puzzle, and you really have to theory craft the deck, and then it becomes more like an action TD or something like that. And I think it's an interesting blend in that way.
So what's this project been like compared to the first Force for you as a developer? What's the process been like this second time around?
So first of all, the first one was really made on a low budget, and it took forever because we were so bad at making games at that point. And now we're like way more experienced, and we don't have tons of knives against our neck. The budget is better, and we have some time to iterate on the game. So we also have some fans, if you will, that are really interested in making Force 2 interesting, and we're also selling like the game here to conference attendees only here, so that they can come in and contribute after the conference. And I think we have like this small community that really helps on building, and it's so motivating. So it's like we're already in Steam Early Access. It's already on Steam, but not purchasable, and we have a community there that we're already uploading a lot of updates to, and I think it's a really cool way to make a game.
So what platforms are you targeting with the game, and sort of when do you think you'll sort of reach a point where you feel comfortable releasing it?
I only think that it will hit Steam Early Access in September. And then I have no clue how long it will take to finalize. It's basically dependent on how good we are at guesstimating the features we need. And right now it's going really, really good. But who knows, we might get stuck somewhere. Then it's also coming to PS4, Xbox One. And I should also say that Force is coming to Xbox One and probably PS4 within 4 months maybe. So that'll also be cool.
So you're working on that in parallel, everything?
In parallel.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, you too.